Welcome to Their Story. Their Story is a 45 minutes, one episode video series which seeks, among other things, to capture various stories of achievers, events, phases of success, and shed a broader light on the Sierra Leonean story. Today, we have with us someone who we know by various names. I know her as Madam Naasu. I am sure at home you'll be smiling and wondering, muttering whatever name you know her by. But ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Madam Naasu to her story. So welcome, Madam Naasu, to your story.
Thank you for having me.
So, what do you like to be called?
I like to be called whatever is comfortable. So, Ma Naasu, Naasu, Madam Naasu, Mommy, Auntie, whatever people choose to call me.
So what's on your passport?
Naasu Genevieve Fofanah.
Okay, so who's Naasu? Tell us, Naasu from, since you would like the same crew, from where you get sense?
From where I get sense. My goodness. Naasu is a woman who is determined. Contrary to what you and others may know about me, I'm a very private person who is actually an introvert in so many ways, but has a very large public profile because of the work that I do. And so sometimes it's difficult to separate the two people. So people who know me in my professional capacity, especially in my advocacy roles, believe that I have a very loud voice or personality. People who are very close to me know me as a very reserved, almost like a loner kind of person, because I really don't like too many people around me in my private space. I am a very caring person. I stand for truth. I don't like what we can call advantage over anything. I embrace people regardless of their education, socio-cultural, or economic backgrounds. Regardless of age, I am somebody who respects people and demand that I be respected because I give and get what I give back. So, in a nutshell, I refer to myself as a very simple person to get along with, but could be a thorn in the flesh when you step over the lines.
So where in Sierra Leone were you born?
I was born in a very small village called Fuenduperi in Pujon district.
So you are what they call a Wanjama babe?
I am a woman of Wanjama.
So is there a distinction between the Wanjama babe and the woman from Wanjama?
I don't know about Wanjama babe. We don't do babes in Pujon. We just do women or girls. So a woman of Wanjama, mostly people who were born around the Pujon town itself, because we've got Pujon district and then Pujon town. So they like to claim that they are the Wanjamanians. And, the riverside, the border end with the Solbema, we have our little things. But for me, Wanjama is Pujon. And so the women of Wanjama, and we do have an organization called Women of Wanjama, and I am actually the chairperson.
Okay, Madam Chair. Okay, so you hail from Wanjama, Pujon, and then you came straight to Freetown, or you did schooling in the provinces, or so how did all of this start?
So I was born in this little village in Pujon. Of course, I didn't know, but I spent quite a lot of time with my grandparents and my mother, especially my grandfather's side. My grandfather in, Fire or so, not in Pujon town. So Sorogbema, which is moving towards the Liberia side. And so from what I know from my mother and my, grandfather, who I had a very loving relationship with, I was there. And in fact, when I was born, I was carrying my grandfather's name because he didn't think that my father had done the right thing to deserve his granddaughter to carry the name, whatever that was. But he was in the military and my father was in the military. And so, I think he said he did not do the culturally appropriate thing then. So I carried my grandfather's name for quite a while. So on my birth certificate, I think it was Susu K for the commander, because I am commander, my maiden name, Kawa. So Susu has been with me since birth. And so then we went to Daru because my father was in the military. So we spent time in Daru, and then we came to Kenema, which is where I started primary school at the Sierra Leone Church School, SLC school. And from there, our father basically got custody of myself and my younger sister, and we came to Moritown. So I attended the Moritown Municipal School, and Papa left the military and worked for Port Authority. So we went to Wellington, and I went to Wellington Municipal School, which is where I start my selective entrance then, before going to boarding school in Moyamba.
Okay, so we are the ones who took the selective entrance, okay?
Yes.
Not this NPSC thing people are talking about now.
Selective entrance proper.
Oh, yes. So secondary school.
Secondary school, first year of secondary school was at St. Joseph's in Moyamba. I was in boarding school for 1 year, and I was practicing to become a nun.
Really?
Well, when we, Catholic schools, really, I think they try to groom you to be so much within the Catholic faith. So I normally say that. But unfortunately, I only spent a year in the school that I really love, because I felt so much love in that school. At that school, it really built, I believe it was, it gave me the foundation that I have today. I was there for 1 year, and the boarding school closed, so I had to go and join my mother in Kenema and attended the Methodist Secondary School, Kenema. Was
it also a boarding school?
No, it was a co-educational school. Okay. I was there from Form 2, and then took my GCE O levels, and wanted to go to sixth form at the Kenema Government Secondary School, but I had so much dealings with the guys in Kenema in terms of, I was the head girl of my school, and I was heading the debating society. I was playing volleyball, so I was very, very active. I was Miss Kenema as well, 1986.
Oh.
Yes. So I was quite popular and attracted quite a lot of young men who, some of them felt like, why is she so bold? So I've been like this since that time. And so I didn't go to sixth form at the Kenema Government Secondary School. I decided to come to Freetown and went to collegiate.
So when you started off, you said you were a private person, you're an introvert, and then you became Edgar. Well, that's academic. You went to the debating society, that's half academic. Well, you're Miss Kenema.
Yes.
How can a Miss Kenema be a shy, quiet, private person? You would have walked on stages. People jeering and shouting, yeah!
Well, I played volleyball. I was in the Scripture Union, so I was used to audiences. I was used to...
Scripture Union and Miss Kenema together?
Yes.
How do you do that?
It worked. Who said you can't be in the church?
I'm just imagining what people would be saying. Church girl, go stand contest.
Well, Scripture Union then was not really about, it was not all this holier thou, it was more about how you carry yourself, your spirituality, which I still carry, being good to humanity. Okay, so it was not about trying to be holier than thou or pretending to be holier than thou. Your actions, should speak about, your spirituality. That was what Scripture Union was all about. So it was a safe space to be in. And I loved singing then. Okay? So I just liked Scripture Union because it allowed me to sing more. But Miss Kenema was one of those rebellious things because my mother was very, very strict. I mean, even after sports day, we were not allowed to go to the disco, to the jump. So I needed to find something to do because my peers would do some other things that I wasn't allowed to do. So my activities were all school-based. I was allowed to do anything as long as it was academic and it was school. My social life was very, I would say, very poor. So when I had, an opportunity to be Miss Kenema, of course, my mother didn't know. It was all planned. And we went to Capitol.
Yeah.
Capitol.
Yeah.
That's where we used to watch the cinema and everything. And there was mobile sports where we'll meet the boys. So it was a nice time. And then I thought we had more girls, and we did. But then they called my name, and nobody showed up, so I went unopposed. So I don't know why.
Unopposed Pan Beauty contest.
Yes. If you see me, Michael, what did we call it? The Michael Jackson. So I had a waistcoat. I still know what I wore. Okay. It was a navy blue like this. And my shirt and my waistcoat and me, Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you remember the name of your boyfriend that day?
No, I actually no, because so I've always had, and it still happens. So I used to have lots of admirers. But for the boys to really come and say they wanted to go out with me was not, it's because I was always challenging them, whether it was in class or at the debating society. So, but I think it was Athodov who, liked me. He was shy. So I like very shy gentlemen. So, I think he's still very shy. He's in the UK. But Arthur was the person who I would say was, because he was the one who used to buy me Vimto. And one day my mother came, he saw him trying to give me Vimto. He just opened Vimto, he poured and I ate. But anyway.
Oh boy.
But anyway, that's, secondary school, no, not really. It was not about boyfriends. The boyfriends we had were academic boyfriends.
Okay.
Yes. So I went to university in the UK, but that was after I'd been married, had my daughter, and went to the US to live. And the marriage, had stayed its course. So I returned to the UK and started university.
I saw the flash in your eyes when you spoke about the daughter.
Yes.
If I remember, she's the one who graduated with some fancy degree.
Not fancy. She's a lawyer.
I could remember.
A barrister.
Social media could not sleep.
No. Why should they?
I know. So what was it like? Is your daughter like you?
Sharper than me. She's petite. She's very clever. I think she's smarter than me. She speaks better English than I do.
Did they not like you?
I think they get nine past me. I think it's in Papa and get nine plus me on. But she has my push, my tenacity, my assertiveness, and of course but she's got her father's demeanor, so she has a quiet disposition until you catch in cocoa. Yes.
Is this the path you'd always wanted, or something just jack you, feeling you and you come out to the other side?
First of all, for me, I never wanted to leave my country. And firstly, as the eldest child, I felt responsible for my siblings. And I always thought if I leave them, they were not going to have people or someone looking after them. Because my parents, even though they divorced, or they in parts very early, but we had both sides, but they were not rich. So I felt like I needed to take care of them. But my childhood aspiration has been education. I did not want to go. So not being able to attend Frobe College was really very, very, it pained me. But I always felt and always wanted and aspired to be somebody big woman na me country for myself.
So are you big enough, or do you still want to go bigger?
I'm going to continue growing, and until I depart this planet.
President?
Of course, why not?
Really?
Yeah.
You want all of this problem of Sierra Leone on your head?
No problem. I'm ready. I am here. I've returned from, I've had the experience out there. I've been back home since 2009. And I am living my best life because I always wanted to be in Sierra Leone. And so the problems that we have are not really that difficult to solve. What we don't do is include everybody into what we need to do so they can proffer solutions. I don't believe Sierra Leone is a difficult country to run.
So the corridors of power, how did you enjoy State House?
State House, I enjoyed State House. I think it's after university, this was one of the really very important experiences I've had in my life. Motherhood is first, but it was a mixed bag.
I was hoping marriage would be first, but anyways, continue.
No, you can marry, like 10 times.
You can give back like 10 times.
Yeah.
Okay, State House. Okay.
State House was interesting. So I came into State House with no political connection, nothing. Like, I don't mean sabi, nobody of influence. Now that I understand what it takes to get appointments, I don't even know how that happened. Other than the AI, okay? Because when I was in the UN, the president had sacked the former Minister of Lands, who was Minister of Gender then, Dennis Sandi. And I really didn't like the way that the country was dealing with gender issues. And so I wrote a letter to the president, partially anonymous. I didn't put a phone number, nothing. And I never thought that letter would meet him at his desk because I was working at the UN. You're not supposed to do stuff like that. But anyway, I wrote the letter in my personal capacity and as a Sierra Leonean. And so he read that letter and then asked that they contact me. I think after like several months, it became possible. We had a 15-minute conversation at the lodge, and I just asked him, like you're asking me questions about what is your personal commitment to women and girls in this country? What you as President Nkrumah, what do you really want women to be? And I asked him several questions. I don't know, and I didn't have whiskey or didn't smoke cigar that day. I was really just Naasu and just asked him questions. So State House, I had to basically write a letter to the president to say if I don't come directly, because when I went there, I was reporting to the president through the office of the chief of staff. So I said to the president, I am really sorry. You asked me to come here to do a job, and if what is happening continues, then I want you to know that I will be more than happy to tender my resignation. So I requested that I move directly into his office to be able to give the to meet my mandate, or else I'll resign. And in a proactive manner, I was reassigned directly under the president's office, the president's his own unit, and so the president was my direct boss, and I was able to do my work. That had its own challenges. Usai Komot, I was not in the APC. I didn't have a political godfather. I was not in any political party.
But you morphed or branched into politics.
That was after I left State House.
So which political party did you join?
When I left State House, 18 months after I joined the All People's Congress, it was the first political establishment that I interfaced with. And so my grandfather, who I really loved, I was told that he was in the APC. And in Pujon, to have an APC person the time my grandfather was there, and I heard that he was very, very active and fearless about him being APC. So I think it was a soft thing that, I wanted to feel like my grandfather was there. So that's what took me there, but I spent only 18 months there as well.
And left to?
I joined Madam Femi Claudia's Cole at the Unity Party.
Are you still there?
I am there as a member, but not in the as an executive.
But you were deputy?
I was deputy chairperson and leader of the party.
Okay. Now let's go to Naasu, the businesswoman, because I know you have spent a lot of time with your hands in a lot of things. So, college, politics, advocacy, and business. So where did all of this business start from?
It's actually my first love.
Business or making money?
Both.
Okay.
But it's more business. But you can't do business if you're not making money. Then you might as well
stay. Some people just like the idea of having a business.
No. I think there was a time when maybe that would survive. No, I'm not doing a social business. I am doing a business. I want to make money. I want to show how I want young women to know that business is not, just a sexy thing. Business is hard work. Business is being a businesswoman is a profession. It's not a joke. It is a very serious thing to do. So when I came back in 2009, I came back as a businesswoman. Okay, I came back. I opened Gemna, which had it was a beauty business. Wilkinson Road. I had sold my house in the UK and brought my money, invested it here, and it was a very sad experience. But I came as a business person, and in London, with everything that I was doing, I also was doing business because my mother used to do, as a businesswoman. So I always saw my mother buying and selling stuff, going to Liberia, and so I grew around that. My two grandmothers were very, business women. Naasu, my namesake, had a tobacco farm. That's where I got my cigar smoking because she'd have her pipe, okay, and she had a cotton farm, my love for country cloth, and all of these things. We'll go fishing, we'll go hunting, we'll kill we drive the birds. So I grew around a community of women who did business, and I mean they did business. They were not very, very rich, but they used their money to educate and make it. So I've always had an entrepreneurship. Now we have this fancy name for it, entrepreneurship spirit. So how did I currently have, how did that start? I really like to work for myself. I love to innovate. I get very bored. I get very bored easily because I set goals for myself and I smash them in no time. So I have to do something else that is exciting. But I also in the process like to grow others, okay, bring other people. So with the Susu coconut oil, for example, I don't have to be here for you to have the same quality of oil. I have people I've trained and making sure that this product doesn't die when I die. It should still be there so my great-great-grandchildren will see it probably all over the world and say, my great-grandmother started that. But whatever I am doing comes from my passion. I have to love something. Like I have to love you to be around you. If I don't care what you have, what you make, who you are. I can deal with you on a professional level, but I don't want to know what you're doing. So I love everything that I'm doing here. I carry 3 businesses in this premises. Firstly, my Susu chili coconut oils. That started when I went to Rwanda in 2018, and there's this oil that the Rwandans have, which is very, very spicy. And I kept thinking, how could they do this? I was studying. I'd gone back to study. So I went back to London and then came here around elections time, took a gallon of coconut oil because I love coconut oil, and thought, maybe I could do this thing. And I started trying in 2018, trying to get the formula how to do so. I love herbs, I love pepper, and I started doing it. I kept doing it. Every time I do the tea, it was not holding. I reached out to a few people. Do you know how to do this? Because I want to go and do this in my country. Nobody knew how to do it. So then I returned home. So Gina, my assistant, was with me and we started doing this oil. And on the 2nd of April 2020, I got my formula. Put on Facebook. Say, I'm going to sell this oil. And then I just started, packaging them. I started with the baskets and doing the pepper. So the more I did them, the more things were, I was trying different things. I started with 3 flavors, garlic, ginger, and patsmanji basil. And by the time I know, people were liking it and they said, well, the rubber way they use is not good, upscale. And then I researched a lot. And I wanted my oil to be competitive. Once the product was good, I took it to Standards Bureau. I wanted it to be competitive. So I took it and I knew I had a very good product. I needed to package it. So I started working on my packaging. I worked with Ishmael Bull on my, my logo. And then, I found my bottles. And the rest is history. So opportunities came, like the grants. I applied. I succeeded. I went for a pitch. I got it. I moved from home. I am here now. And but people kept asking, Naasu, we don't know how to use the oil. So sometimes you see me cooking on Facebook. Mm-hmm. But then I also wanted to use food that we can identify with. And I wanted to take something really local. So the issue of the susu pemaun came from that. And I just thought, we have the KFCs, we've got the Pizza Huts, we've got the McDonald's. I want the pemaun to be our own, food. So,
by the way, the packaging is good.
Thank you. I want it to be a franchise. I want a pemaun franchise all over Sierra Leone. And in fact, take it out of this country. Because it's vegetarian, it's vegan, it's everything. And so now that we've started doing the seafood, people are like, hey, but you've been saying our local content. I'm like, yeah, the sea is here.
Not local.
Lobster is not local. Do you think, our local content should just be Mina and Bonga, which is very expensive elsewhere? Let us promote and add value. So for me, it's not just doing business. I also have a social cause to it. It's about branding my country and also exporting, what my country stands for, what my country has to offer. Of course, of the country cloths, but my third business is the Susu Women's Finance. Access to finance for women in this country, or for everybody, but especially women, is a very difficult process. I have gone through it. I told you that I actually brought $150,000 of my own money when I was coming into this country. For $5,000, I nearly lost my 19-bedroom apartment, which I was building because it was a collateral. So, because the interest rates are very high. My business got killed because of Wilkinson Road. And even when you tell the bank what is happening, okay, when I was working, I was paying, and then I stopped work, I going to study. I told them that I was no longer working. They have systems in place to stop the interest rate. They didn't. My interest kept piling. I had, at one point, they almost wanted to sell my property. And I had to fight them. I said, I will go for you because I have my documentation. You told me bring your property up to 60%, so 60%. We'll loan you to finish it. When I came for the loan, you told me, we don't stop at now, not do I again. You never informed me after I had used all my savings to bring the property to where it is. Nobody no go touch me also. So me and the Ude Panam and this and that. But that experience, okay, where I had my money, I didn't want a loan. But because we didn't have electricity, we didn't have Wilkinson Road, the government did that road. Today we're all enjoying it, but people like us suffered financially for Wilkinson Road. And so I decided to myself that access to finance should not be so painful. There must be a way that women should be able to access finance, and we can also compete in the formal sector and get what we need. There's so much money. There's more money in the informal sector than the formal sector in this country. And us women have money. So at every level, we don't take our monies into the banking system because the banks are not very user and women friendly. Okay? And so I thought to myself 2 years ago that I would like to establish a women's bank. And so that's where the idea of the Susu Women's Finance. So I started speaking to some friends, and then Festus at Sierra Leone Commercial Bank over Rugby, we started talking about this. And that's how my relationship with Commercial Bank came about. So we now have a convention agreement, legal, and we have together worked hard. We've established the women's banking units at Sierra Leone Commercial Bank. We have a product which is the women's banking unit. So because we don't have money to open our own bank, so it's good to actually work with the biggest national bank in the country to let them babysit us. So what that is going to be doing is basically it's a savings, because the savings aspect is really critical. It's a savings and loan scheme, and the issue of collateral will be taken away by the savings that you make.
School, fun, politics, advocacy. What do you do for fun?
You know what I do for fun.
Well,
I smoke cigar. I drink whiskey, the best, the finest whiskeys. I dance. I cook.
Oh yes, you can dance.
Yes, I dance. I cook, and sometimes I yarn who I want to yarn. Yeah.
Oh yes, but that thing died. It
didn't die.
What was it called again?
The yarning, yano.
Oh yes.
Because somebody promised to do an app for me, and he didn't.
So we can go yarn at the app. Oh yeah.
We just still do one. No, but actually, I've had married don't come out for me and business day.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're not married properly na host and registry. I still do informally, but it's a very good thing because some people in go hang the as a we had a lot of people. It was quite a serious thing because we have people who are in very complicated relationships or marriages, meaning they are actually not even living with their partners.
Okay.
But it brought a lot to the fore for me and what's going on in Sierra Leone in that field. So it's too serious for me coming for play around with them.
Okay.
I need to give it a more.
So quickly, your favorite teacher in a primary school name?
Mrs. Stevens.
Why?
She was. She gave me confidence.
Okay. Favorite one at secondary school?
I had a love-hate relationship with her. Favorite because she embodied boldness. She embodied speaking out. She was short, small, clever. She was my English and government teacher. She's now the special advisor on women's issues in the office of the Vice President, Madam Batu Jambawai.
Okay.
So, but she was also very, very strict.
Favorite lecturer?
Favorite lecturer at university. I love Chantal. She was my organizational psychology lecturer. She was just edgy, young. She gave me hope that, young people could do things. She's still my lecturer. That's why next Monday I'll be doing my yearly guest lecturing at Westminster University.
You guest lecture?
Every year I do that. Yes.
All right. So Anything you want to ask yet?
You don't ask me about the man business.
I think you not tell me about the man business, boy.
No, I'm the private area.
Okay.
Yes. No, I don't. When I'm ready, when it is the right time to say things, because when you're in the public space, maybe the people you hang around or the person you're with is not a public person. So, I never really, I'm not one of those people who like to put people in the
on the spot. Yeah.
On the spot. Where we're ready for married or we're ready for engaged, where all man will say, okay, we for do then that's that. I think it's just the fairest thing to do.
I'm sure I'll be invited, so may not get
yeah, I don't know yet, but I think I'll get married next year, but once I find out the man, I'll let you know and I'll invite you.
So you never even married?
No, but they are aspirants.
You know, I genuinely like I keep thinking. So the aspirants they get.
Yeah. Yes. Listen, every day they hand me. So you get the one.
So they hand you today?
Yeah, of course. Every day they hand me. Every day I get. Then they hand me na Facebook. They hand me where I come out. They hand me na LinkedIn. Then they hand me also. Say now the platform for Yan is big.
Oh yes, oh yes.
Not so just where you come out. Then they hand me na supermarket. In fact, when they buy me per pound, they hand me. Then they buy the oil, they hand me. Boku I even need now for people they hand me. So it's okay. I have no problems with that as long as it's respectful.
Okay.
Yes, because I say no to people. And myself can like starting. I don't one or two man they will be like, but they not be available. I tell them. I say no.
Anyways, so that's her story. That's the part of our life we want you to know. We get parts that we keep, if not for today or for other time, but it will unfold.
Yes.
So, like we started off, we're saying everyone has their story, and every individual in story, now they add up to the community in story, where they expand to the region or the province or the country, then the entire world. So, we thank you very much for telling us your story. This is about not only you, it's about celebrating Sierra Leone, it's about letting the little girl in Pujaun know, say, it's not easy, but you can tell like Naasu, the little boy in Falaba,
yeah,
for able not say, it's not easy. You can tell like the president,
of course,
the footballer, they look Messi and hope he becomes Messi someday. And some of us are excited about the things we do and the people, the path they will cross. And I am quite sure I will ask you for make 1 minute comment on social media, because I am a benefactor of many valuable friendships. I got to know you through social media. Yeah. And people who don't know Fiso don't be party all with life there. Well, so one minute, just a general advice on the use of social media quickly, so we let people know the value, not just for just Yan. Yes, and somebody go commodity, not for just go cost.
No.
But then
I don't even think if social media wasn't around, I would meet you, or I would have expanded my reach. Yeah. So social media is a very, very important tool. But you get to learn how to use them. And when we talk about social media, mostly people just think about the Facebook, the TikTok, the Instagram. So we all use social media differently. I have a strong following on Facebook. I am not an Instagram person much. I am not a TikTok, because my comparative advantages are not, I don't understand that area much. But I'm also very strong on LinkedIn, which is a business platform. Okay, so you get for choose who side you impact, you able for grow, you presence. You also need for know which you go find on social media. Okay, so the people who buy my permao or my oil, they see it because I use social media to advertise. The people who follow my advocacy work, they see my life, they see my work on social media. So some people say, Naasu, you too late for social media. I'm like, I don't want my house to be full of 5,000 people. I can't accommodate them. But I only need to go on social media and I can send my message. So what you do on social media is very powerful. But most importantly, today you apply for a job, you say, oh, Naasu Fofanah. People just go on social media, they find you. A few days ago, VOA, they interviewed me tomorrow. Almost everything they got, I didn't send to them. They used the social media. So people, social media now are the biggest reference now for you. You know, before when you write something, people will say, referees, they still ask. But the first thing that people will do before they get you is to Google your name. Today, even when somebody says, oh, you know, I really fancy you, and if I get small interest, are they Googler? You understand? So if you're there cussing, it will come up. You know, but if you're using it well, you look at your profile, we'll start seeing the criteria. This is not person I can able for be me paddy, I can be able for talk to, I can be able for entertain them, look in. So social media is a very serious tool and people should treat them as those. Social media, I have also suffered the downside of social media. Okay, so if you're doing very well, you also attract some very nasty people who can damage your reputation. So social media can break you, not sometimes through your own faults, but because other people have used it wrongly. So here I was doing everything that I'm doing that you admire about me today or you want people to know. But it was the same social media that somebody who had never met, who tried to follow me, and eventually I met her, became obsessed with what I do and decided to tarnish my character nationally and internationally. If I was not very strong, I also understood how to use social media and also knew the law and how to find ways. I don't think it would have been easy for me to even, you know, get my credibility back. So we have to be very careful how we use that platform. But my advice to women, in particular young women, is use social media for positive impact.
All right, Madam Naasu, Susu,
Genevieve,
Commander,
Fofanah.
Fofanah, and I like this word, I'm trying to find this word, the indefatigable. Yes. It was nice having you tell your story. This has been her story, Naasu Fofanah, and their story for MaxBox Media.